Good morning and welcome to Political Voices on 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. Political Voices is a session of comments, interviews and analysis of trending political stories as they affect and shape the world around you. Today is Thursday, it is the 21st day of January 2021. This morning our focus shifts to the issue of the state of the polity, electoral reforms and matters arising. But before we get into the conversation, there are headlines we are tracking in the political space. Atahiru Bafarawa, former Sokoto State Governor, has declared that Northern elders are angry with President Muhammadu Buhari over his poor handling of insecurity in the country. Speaking in Abuja yesterday, the former governor said thousands of people were displaced in the north while the government spent billions on COVID-19. He said if the north fails to speak out now, they won't when a southerner becomes president. Former Governor of Jigawa State, Alhaji Sule Lamido, said the days of All Progressive Congress APC are numbered as President Muhammadu Buhari will not support Bola Ahmed Tinubu's candidature in the coming 2023 general elections. Lamido said this at the inauguration of the Jigawa State People's Democratic Party PDP Reconciliation Committee in Dutse, saying that in the near future there would be no more APC because the whole of APC is made of two people, Buhari and Tinubu. Lamido, however, said the breakup of the APC does not mean the PDP's victory unless the members unite. He appealed to aggrieved members to put the party before their interest for the victory of the party. A factional executive of the Ebonyi State People's Democratic Party PDP, Mr. Ogazi Linus Owonaya, yesterday confessed to being sponsored by Governor David Umahi to destabilize the party in the state. Ogazi, who was a member of the Onyekachi Nwa-Ebonyi faction, said he was dumping the Eskills to join forces with Elder Fred Udogu caretaker committee to reclaim the structure of the party from Nwa-Ebonyi. He made this known while speaking to journalists in Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, vowing to never again be a part of the people destroying the party in the state. Those are some of the political headlines we are tracking this morning on Political Voices. Remember, you can join the conversation on Facebook, 925 Dream FM. We are streaming live, by the way, and of course on Twitter at Dream925FM. Stay with us. Nigeria is having her fair share of political challenges ranging from calls for restructuring to zoning of the presidency, electoral and constitutional reforms, security issues, Igbo presidency. What ways can the country weather her various storms and rise from the ashes? To provide answers to these questions and more is a man with the right credentials, the former Deputy President of the Nigeria Senate and Senator representing Enugu West Senatorial District. He is also the current member of the Senate Committee on Constitution Amendment and Senate Committee on INEC. He is also a member of the Technical Committee on the Electoral Act comprising representatives of the Senate, House of Representatives, INEC and CSOs, and he is the chairman of the PDP panel on electoral reforms and constitutional amendments to Political Voices. Senator Professor Ike Ekweremadu. Happy New Year. So we start by asking you, distinguished Senator, as a member of the Senate Committee on INEC, what is your assessment of elections in Nigeria?
Well, thank you so much. I think the election in Nigeria is still a work in progress. If I'm talking about elections, you have to remember that you have the pre-election issues, you have the election, and you have the post-election. With pre-election issues, I think we still have issues of logistics on the part of INEC, but they've improved essentially. So, and I think that that is also commendable. On the election proper, I think the conduct of the election has also improved. We've had challenges few places and a few times, which I believe we can also sort out. But the post-election issues, I think a lot has happened, which are also very positive. Now we've reduced the number of days or months or weeks when we can deal with the issue of elections, matters arising there too. So that such that if you contest the election and then you lost and you decide to go to the tribunal, now you have limited period within which to do that. 180 days, you have to contest that at the tribunal, and if there are appeals arise there too, it has to be sorted out within the 60 days from the time the appeal was filed. So these are taking care of the past when election matters, go on endlessly. So I think we've made some progress, but I think we can still do more going forward.
Well, you were a former chairman of the Senate Committee on Constitutional Amendment for some years, and you had the opportunity to superintend over several electoral reform efforts starting from 2010. What areas have you covered to ensure free, fair, and credible elections in Nigeria?
Well, the journey started somewhere in 2007. The present electoral reforms we are pushing started about 2007. When I got elected as the Deputy Senate President, my boss, Senator David Mark, now gave me the assignment to deal with the issue of electoral reforms and constitutional amendment. It was part of my brief at the time to ensure that we make progress in that regard. So thereafter, I think in 2008, I traveled to Denver to attend the Democratic Convention and used the opportunity to study the American electoral system. So when I returned, we prepared a draft of the Electoral Act. We also proposed to bring about a new one, and then drop the existing ones, so consolidate the ones we had at the time. And so in 2010, we had a brand new Electoral Act, so that Electoral Act repealed the former Electoral Act and all the amendments thereto. So that's the one we're using there till today. We also touched on the Constitution, areas that had to do with the Constitution. Well, probably I'll just go through some of the things we're able to do from that period till now, so that we'll be able to know where we're coming from, where we are, and probably where we're going. So one of the first things we did was to provide financial autonomy for INEC. So Section 81 of the Constitution was altered to give INEC a financial autonomy. We also dealt with the issue of administrative and political independence for INEC. Section 160 of the Constitution was amended to give INEC powers to make its own rules or otherwise regulate its own procedure, and it should not be subject to the presidential approval. We also removed the issue of partisanship and qualification for appointment of INEC members. Section 156 was altered to ensure that a person is not appointed a member of the INEC on the basis of his belonging to a political party. The reason was that at that time, for you to be a member of the INEC commission, you must also qualify to be in the House of Representatives. And one of the qualifications at the time was that you must be a member of the political party. So the implication, therefore, is that for you to be a member of the INEC, you must also be a member of the political party, by virtue of that provision in Section 156, that you also qualify to be in the House of Representatives. So we now removed that aspect. So now INEC members are not expected to be members of a political party. We also ended the issue of disqualification of candidates by administrative panel. Sections 66(1)H and 107(1)H were deleted to ensure that a person is not disqualified from contesting an election simply on the basis of an indictment by an administrative panel of inquiry, because it was being abused at the time. People just concoct stories, and then candidates are disqualified, and it was quite embarrassing. So it's a long story, but we did remove that, so that's no more basis for disqualifying candidates. We reduced the number of quorum of election petition tribunal members from 5 to 3, and even at that 3, 2 can sit to conduct the proceeding. And then timelines for termination of election petitions, as I said earlier, has also been reduced and streamlined. Section 285 was altered to provide timeline for the filing and determination of election petitions, 180 days for the tribunal and 60 days for the consequent appeals. Then timeline for the determination of pre-election disputes were subsequently introduced and passed into law and signed by the President. That Section 285 has been altered to provide a timeline for 180 days for determining of pre-election matters. So that also has been streamlined. Then the removal of funding of parties by government. So people were abusing the registration of political parties at some point because government was funding. So today it is no more the issue because we have removed that aspect from the Constitution. Now, the time of election in Section 76 to 1162, 1322, 1782, we amended to give INEC more room to conduct elections. Then, of course, you know the age limit issue, the not too young to run bill, who reduced the age qualification as well. Now, the period for the conduct of pre-election were also altered. So today, the amendment of Section 134, 176, 179, and 225 of the Constitution to extend from 7 to 21 days the period within which INEC shall conduct runoff elections between two leading presidential or gubernatorial candidates. Of course, the deregistration of political parties. We figured that in the registration of political parties, people just register political party for the sake of it. So today, we've inserted Section 225A to stipulate the conditions and processes for deregistration of political parties. So that is the law today. Now, of course, in the Electoral Act, we stopped INEC from disqualifying candidates under Section 31 of the Act, then removal of restrictions on electronic voting. So prior to 2015, we had Section 52.2 that says that the use of electronic voting is hereby prohibited. So in 2015, early 2015, we amended that to allow INEC to apply electronic voting. Of course, the issue, we also provide a window for the primaries under Section 87 of the Electoral Act. Then to make sure that the proceedings at the electoral tribunals are seamless, we also removed INEC officials as respondents to election petitions. So we've done a lot, but there are some more that are still remaining.
You were quoted as saying that the greatest challenge to elections in Nigeria is the enforcement of extant laws, that they are often observed in the breach. Could you please explain further on that?
As the issue is, I just enumerated most of the things we were able to achieve, but the issue is that how many of them have been applied? Because 2015 we allowed INEC to use electronic voting. We thought that by now they would have used it in some of the off-season elections. So that had not happened. So that's the problem. The second one is that if you look at, I think, Section 76 of the Constitution or thereabout, that talks about time when you have to conduct a fresh election where there's a vacancy in either the Senate, House of Representatives, or the District Assemblies. That section says that if there is a vacancy occurring in any of those legislative houses, the INEC has to replace the person within 30 days. Now, what has happened is that if you look at the senatorial election conducted nationwide about last month or 2 months ago, some of those vacancies have been there for 6 months, some nearly 1 year. So as far as I'm concerned, they were illegally conducted, and they ought not to be conducted, because the philosophy behind that is that every part of Nigeria, every part of state needs to be presented at each material time, and the legislative house is not supposed to go on without any part being represented. So the Constitution now says that within 30 days of any vacancy, maybe a member had died or removed. After 30 days or within 30 days that happened, you must have to conduct a fresh election to ensure that that part of Nigeria, part of state, will be represented in the legislative house. But that also has been observed in the breach. So there are so many instances such as that. So we must learn how to obey the laws we made for ourselves.
Despite the reforms so far, Nigerians are still clamoring for more reforms. For instance, on the issue of electronic voting, which you've mentioned, and using technology, allowing it to play more roles in our elections. How have this been factored in the ongoing amendments?
Well, essentially, when we started this electoral reform in 2007, 2008, our approach was that of incremental. So we felt we can't do everything same day. We allow these things to be practiced, and then we see where there are amendments to be made and how Nigerians respond to them. So when we started with the issue of Section 52 to say INEC can now use electronic means to conduct elections. Now, as I said, it was controversial at the time. So eventually, my colleagues were kind enough to allow that to proceed. Now, having done that, presently, we are trying to take it a little higher to the next level. Now, it's not just enough to conduct elections electronically or to use electronic means to conduct elections. It's also equally important to transmit those results electronically. I was in a Edo election, and it was quite good to witness what INEC did in Edo. Simply, they took picture of the results after it's been announced at the polling booths, and then they upload it at the INEC website. And then if you go to the INEC website and then put in your name, and then make a request, they'll send you a code. With that code, you can have access to those results as they come in. So that is electronic transmission. So it helped to bridge the gap between what happens at the polling stations and what happens at the collation center, because that's where most of the rigging and the writing of results take place. So I believe that at this present effort to amend the Electoral Act further, that we're going to bring that about. I was part of the technical committee earlier this month on that issue. It was a major issue before us. But we've made the proposal that the electronic transmission should form part and parcel of our Electoral Act.
Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa, with one of the largest population of youth in the world, estimated at over 55%. How can we get to the youths, and how can we get them more involved and create more political opportunities for them to occupy elective positions? It doesn't appear that the not too young to run amendment has significantly helped Nigerian youths to occupy political positions. How can we get them on board?
You know, as a lawmaker, we try as much as possible to accommodate the yearnings and aspirations of our people. So when they came up with the issue of reducing the years within which somebody can run an election, they're not too young to run a bill. Well, most Nigerians were frenzied about it, but I knew it was not going to solve a lot of problems. And I'll tell you why. Now, today in America, I'm not sure they have age restrictions as such, but today, the last presidential election, the candidates were above 70, both of them. Now, they didn't have any much problem. Today, the 78-year-old man is now the president of America, so no problem. Now, but I think that's I'll make progress. We need youth inclusiveness in what we do. But we must be proactive in the way to deal with it. We must think outside the box. So the idea of just reducing the numbers of the years will not resolve the problem, and you can see it has not resolved the problem. So the reason is that because of the disparity, in economic endowment of Nigerians, and then of course the social factors, of the old versus the young and all of that, and then the women being put behind some places. So we'll continue to have this kind of challenge. So I think that what will finally resolve the problem will be what we call proportional representation. Today, what we do is what they call first past the poll. That means that for constituencies, you have individuals running in various constituencies. You run the election in the constituency. If you win, you represent them. In most places, in South and Central Africa, in most of Europe, what they do is pass proportional representation. What that means is that if PDP, APC, and APGA are running an election, now you don't have candidates on the ballot. You send a list of candidates to the Independent Electoral Commission. So if you win, say, 50% of the votes in that election, then from that their list, they will take 50%. So that 50% will draw from the list we've sent. And then their criteria on how to draw that list, you will have women representation, you have youth representation, you have people who are physically challenged. So those are all spelled out. So when you are drawing the 50%, you have to make sure that all these other people will also be fully represented. So because of that, so most people, women have found themselves into parliament. Young people have found themselves into parliament. Those who are physically challenged have found themselves into parliament. So if we do that, so in that case, you don't need to go and look for a struggle for election. So we have to win election in your constituency. What you need to do is support that political party to win, and then the party will ensure that all these segments of the society are fully represented. So I think that should be the next thing we're going to pursue with our young people and our women. Yeah,
now you talked about women. We need to also raise that issue on its own. The issue of gender inclusiveness has become a sing-song. A lot of people think that women are still put down in Nigeria, but most especially in the political sphere. You look at the representation in National Assembly, even in the state assemblies, even in the executive councils. The women don't seem to be represented enough. How can we solve this problem to get women on board?
Well, I think there are also cultural issues involved here, especially in the north of Nigeria, so where women are not highly regarded, so I think we need to come off that place. So, but if we have to introduce this proportional representation, it will help in dealing with this. We've tried in the past to do that, but our colleagues from the north, keep raising the issue of the cultural issues and how their religion or culture will respond to that. But I think that as we continue the conversation, we'll come to a level where that will be introduced. But outside that, in appointments, I think that the women had done sufficiently well, especially under President Jonathan. So we may not say the same thing of the present administration. So appointments is usually at the discretion of the chief executive. So I think that once we have a chief executive, either president or the governor, who is gender friendly, I think the women will have their fair share in appointments. But for elective offices, I think the solution should be on proportional representation.
You represent the good people of Enugu West Senatorial Zone. Talk us through your constituency projects and outreaches in Enugu West Senatorial District.
Well, it's true, I represent Enugu West, but I still see myself as a senator for the people of Enugu State. I see myself as a senator from the southeast of Nigeria. I also see myself as a Nigerian senator representing every part of Nigeria. But because I come from a particular senatorial district, who also gave me the job to represent them, what I've tried to do is to improve the quality of representation, provide infrastructures, help them to have access to the opportunities democracy can afford. So we've tried as much as possible to ensure that we change the narrative in terms of the road infrastructure. Today we have good access roads in most places. Most of the roads, the works are ongoing. As we speak, the road at Ogu, going from Ogu all the way through most part of Ogu, all the way to Ozara, passing the old Port Harcourt road is ongoing. Is being done by the Cetraco. As we speak, the Arab contractors are on the axis from Uguoba, passing most of Udi all the way to OP. They are in two sections, and it's being well funded by Skook. So we believe that the funding won't be an issue. As we speak, I'm sure you are aware that we are doing a loop around the north of Udi, including Alpha, Umulumbu, Egede, and other axes. Of course, the work is going on between Ogu and Uji River. Cetraco is also on that road. We've also tried to provide water for our people, and we'll try to do it through Appropriation Act. But we discovered that that's taking a long time, to deliver to the number of people who like to give water. So we decided to procure a rig and then introduce what we call Water for All for the Enugu West. Today, that water program is ongoing. We're about in the 50th borehole, and we're still proceeding there. As I speak to you, they're now in Abia in Udi. From Abia, they'll go to the town. There was a Catholic church. There's a Catholic church they will provide water for. From there, they'll go to Jiriva. Then they'll return to Izago. They just left the axis, before the north of Udi, and now in the south of Udi. So they will return to Izago. They were in the Izago early last year. And then we hope that by the grace of God, around April, we'll also go and support our brothers and sisters from the from Soka area, and then probably also go to the east of Enugu State. So, as I said, we'll try as much as possible to provide facilities for our people. The road infrastructure I provide is not limited to Enugu West. We've done road and also doing roads from Nenwe connecting the Kano East through the Nume axis. Also the road going from Ozara all the way through Abani to Amagunze, is also ongoing. We tried to support that initiative. We, by the grace of, attracted that project. And of course, there are a number of projects in Isuzo, in Enugu South, in some part of Soka, Ebeze South. We've also tried to support, because we are also from Enugu State. So we've done a bit, and but believe we can still do more.
This is Political Voices on 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. We are discussing state of the polity, electoral reforms, and matters arising with a very special guest in the studio this morning, Senator Professor Ike Ekweremadu, former Deputy President of the Senate, and he is the senator representing Enugu West Senatorial District. We'll take on the phone lines now so we can hear from the people. 09020020925. On Facebook, you can send us your messages, 925DreamFM. On Twitter, you can drop your message with the hashtag Political Voices on @Dream925FM. We'll have a call on the line already. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and location?
Yeah, this is the law at law.
The law at law, you're welcome.
All right. This issue of road accessibility. If you come to issues today, no road accessibility over there from Federal College of Education down to Ikem. I have asked this question several times. The senators that represent us, let them come and do that very road. If you come during the rainy season, many people are dying in that very road. Please, I am begging, even the present senator in the studio, if you know how to help us, let him help us. Thank you very much. It's the law at law.
All right, then. Thank you. The law at law. You're using one stone to kill two birds, I think. All right. Call us at 09020020925 or 0809888895. Okay, you want to respond to that immediately, please?
I guess the issue he raised is quite germane. But I'm aware that the governor had done a number of interventions around issues and still doing. We've also done our own intervention, I think, around Ikem also. Isienyi, we did a road at Isienyi as well for the people of Isuzo. And but I'm aware that governor has done some roads there and they're also doing. So I also raised the matter with my friend, the governor of Enugu State.
All right. So let's take some more calls now. 09020020925. Hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning. This is Obuzuru calling from Yamufu.
Obuzuru, you're welcome.
Thank you. I respect my senator of Igbo land, because you said he's a senator representing Igbo land and it's true. So my own is just a question and a pleading. My question is that if sometimes we do something against God's rule and we ask for forgiveness, so my question is now is that what have we done to state government of Enugu State to the extent that he cannot rebuild in Hamufu road going to Ikemu? That road is very bad. Government has not done anything. Come to that place. Sometimes when government want to come a Hamufu side, they will use a Ebonyi side because they have a very nice road. And Kalagu road, concrete road. The one that government did from Egedegede, Ochini to college verification, they stop at college verification. Go to that road has started spoiling. Please, I'm pleading. You people, if you have done something wrong to state government, you should forgive us and come and help us. This is also disturbing us. I'm begging you.
All right, I'm sure they are listening. I think the distinguished senator would like to also say a word or two on that. But we have a message on Facebook. Ken Richie Obiekwe says, good morning, Alex and my able senator. Electoral reforms in our country is a welcome approach. But my question to my able senator is that why is it that the electronic voting process is yet to manifest in these reforms? Peter Uche says that he is delighted to speak on his own point of view that the politics of Nigeria precisely need proper and productive amendment. Politics is all about inculcation of talent, time and treasure, positively helping the youth to actualize their dreams by actually creating job opportunities in diaspora. Nigeria is a great nation indeed, but the needful need to be done by doing the right thing at the right time. I see you want to respond to the caller. That seemed to be a lot of calls coming from that axis. Yeah. But
yes, let me also point out that the Obolo Ikemi-Hamofu is a federal road. So blaming the state government is completely unfair. So what we all need to do is to work with those representing that area at the federal level to ensure that it's captured in the next year's Appropriation Act, and then put pressure on the government to deal with it. But as I said earlier, the state government is also intervening in some of the roads in issues as well. And I also intend to also discuss with the governor if there's something that needs to be done before the federal intervention comes up. I'm sure that he'll be happy to do that.
All right, back to the phone lines. 09020020925. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name and location?
My name is Chinedu. I'm coming from Soka.
You're welcome, Chinedu.
Yes. My brother, I thank Chinedu in the studio for coming. Our heart has been broken for him representing us in federal level and all the roads in East being condemned. I believe that he will walk through Usoka 90-mile road. I've been doing years. RCC have been 90 miles. Flag up in the year 2015 till now, and that road is so bad. The same way from Enugu to Onika.
And all of them are the same federal roads. Anambra, at least they are doing well now, from all the way from Togo down to Oka. RCC are working on that route. And our own are being abandoned. And RCC is in Enugu State. Look at Ugonyama. From 90 miles to Ugonyama is being condemned. Many lives have been lost there. Many people have lose their business through that road. And he's telling us that the governor is the federal road. When the governor wants to come back to his own Ike road, the former governor did.
All right, then. Thank you so much. I'm sure you've made your point, and the distinguished senator in the studio is taking notes. We will take another call. Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sir Alex.
Okay, you have to reconnect with us. Let's see if we can take another call. Okay. All right. Please.
Yeah. Well, the last caller, I want to thank you for your concern, but you have to realize that this has to do with funding. There's limited funds available for all of this, and the roads across Nigeria are in very bad state, not just the ones in the southeast. I've had the opportunity of traveling around Nigeria. The story is the same thing because of the way we are funding our road infrastructure. So that's why we are working with federal government to come up with creative ways to fund the issue of development of our road infrastructure. But the story is the same everywhere. The roads are completely dilapidated. But let me also say that all the roads that mentioned from Enugu to Onitsha to Port Harcourt, and then Enugu to Makurdi, by the grace of God, we'll be able to secure an award of all these contracts, of all these roads. RCC is on the 9th mile Monsoka to Benue border. The RCC is also on most part of the Enugu to Onitsha. As I speak with you now, they are somewhere in the 9th mile. They have their yard there, and work is ongoing there. So it takes time because of the funding, because they're not going to use their money to do these roads. They are there. We've also awarded the segment from Enugu, the 82 div to 9th mile. It's been awarded by the federal government with an interchange at 9th mile. We're hoping that they're going to have flyovers when it's eventually concluded. So we just ask for patience on the part of our people. We are very mindful of the suffering of our people in those roads, and we're pushing it with the federal government with every vigor we can muster. So it's just that the funds are quite limited. So we understand that. So, and there are so many challenges facing the government, both at the national and state level. So we just call for patience. All right.
The message on Facebook from Philip Akbota says that our Ebuland Senator, sir, please, I want to know why the water project attracted to Obodakbu Abogu in 2011 was abandoned, despite the level of accomplishment there.
Well, I'm not aware of any abandoned water project in Abogu. We have done about 4 boreholes in Abogu. And I'm sure people like Udokoye can attest to that. Rafo Novo can also attest to that. But if there's an issue, you got any particular borehole, I would like to visit there and see for myself. We've tried to intervene in Abogu. Abogu is one of the communities we've set as an example of internal roads. So we'll be able to accomplish almost all the roads, the internal roads in Abogu. Abogu looks like a city now in terms of roads. So we've done a lot for Abogu.
Still on Facebook, Michael DeGood says, special greetings from Ikora Global Support Lagos chapter. Please, sir, continue your good work. We can't wait to have you as the president of Nigeria, and do well to support the inclusion of the youth in politics, and also try to participate in the reform of our Electoral Act amendment. Abuchi Michael Ibo, the Hezawanta wine of Festac Town, Lagos. That's his message. Back to the phone line, 09020020925. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, call us back. We have a message on WhatsApp. This one is from Emeko May. It says, good morning, distinguished Senator. I believe electoral reform shall be a welcome development when given a good attention to be addressed. It would help make our elections more transparent and credible and make us enjoy true democracy. God bless Nigeria. On Facebook, Obonta Shadrach says, my able and most respected Senator, I'm your strong supporter, but what's going on in Ituku roads? It seems that Ituku is being neglected in terms of infrastructural inclusiveness and even in your human capital development across Enugu West. We stand with Ikoha. All right, so back to the full line, 09020020 925 or 08098888 And back to Facebook, Okolo Chukwunyere says, "Good day, Excellency. Please, why are you people not considering to put zoning in Nigeria's constitution, considering that number of ethnic groups in Nigeria?" In fact, let's come back to the studio and take up that issue. The issues around electoral reforms, toggling on zoning and Igbo presidency. But first of all, let's talk about zoning. I'm sure a lot of people, you must have heard, it must have come to your notice, that a lot of people have been talking about zoning, even around political parties. The reason why some people are leaving their political parties also bother on zoning. What's your take on the matter?
Well, my take is that people are talking about zoning because of the way we manage our affairs, because if you're a president of Nigeria and you're president for all, I'm sure that the rest will not bother where you come from. If you're a governor of a state and a governor for all, nobody will bother where you come from. If you're a local government chairman and a chairman for all, nobody will bother where you come from. In the US, the president can come from Ebonyi and his vice president can come from Enugu, and they don't bloody care, because they're going to be president for every American. It's because that a president of Nigeria only bothers about maybe his ethnic group, his religious group, and people of his own demography. That's why people are clamoring for all this issue of zoning. So, but I think that what we need to do, because it's a major concern for our people, is to sit down to agree on this, but it has to be for a transition period, because we have to make progress like the rest of the country, the rest of the world. So zoning is not a major issue in any country I'm aware of. So except Nigeria, because of the way we conduct our affairs. So I support the idea of having a conversation that will bring about an acceptable zoning formula. But if you look at the political parties like the PDP, we have in the provision in our constitution that the presidency will move between the south and the north, in alternate orders. So I'm sure that maybe APC has the similar provision. So, but it's something that we may have to decide whether it will be in our constitution or not to be in our constitution. Now, in some states, there are dominance of some groups, maybe ethnic group or religious group in one part of the state, against the other. Now, this is the only way to bring about equity in those places, so that every part of the state will have a sense of belonging. But as I said, if we're going to do that, because it's not democratic, we need to do it in a way that it will be at the transition period. So that after that period, now we must have learnt our lessons. We'll be able to have good men who will be able to rule those states or the country as if they are part of, they come from all parts of that country. So that's what I think about zoning.
You were appointed late last year as the chairman of the PDP panel on electoral reforms and constitution amendment. Do you think there is time for this particular committee to make great impact? Some think it's coming late in the day, especially for an opposition party.
Well, you're right. Maybe we would have done that earlier than now. But the good thing is that I'm a member of the INEC committee in the Senate. I'm also a member of the Constitutional Amendment Committee as well. So ahead of that appointment, I've been involved in the process, and I can tell you clearly that I've done a lot in terms of the proposed new electoral act. It's going to come up, I'm sure, within this quarter. We hope, or hopefully, we'll be able to have it passed, and it will. It's going to be an improvement in the 2010 Act.
You attended a cross-political parties meeting held at Igbere, where a resolution was made that the presidential ticket of the major political parties in Nigeria should be ceded to the southeast. How feasible is a Nigerian president of Igbo extraction in 2023?
It's feasible, very feasible. I remember about 2 or 3 years ago, a number of people, groups came to see me to seek my suggestion and opinion on how to go about that. And I said, the first thing we need to do is the advocacy. We need to create the consciousness that we are part and parcel of Nigeria, that we've also contributed to the development of this country, that we live a part of Nigeria, and they've done so much in support of this nation. And so it will be only fair that our people given opportunity to occupy the highest office in the land. And that advocacy has been going on. Now we've gotten to a point where we may have to take it further, and this time consultation will be the next level. And that's why we met at Igbere across party lines. We decided that, look, we're going to persuade our colleagues in various political parties to see to it that those political parties will cede their presidency to our part of the country. And I say so because we've done it in the past. When PDP lost the election in 2015, they set up a committee which I headed, and to look at why we lost and the way forward. Part of our recommendation was that we cede our presidential candidacy to the North at the time. And it helped us, and we made a lot of progress. We won more states, that we had, ahead of that election. So I think that we can also persuade our people, to see the need for united Nigeria, for inclusivity, in the affairs of this country. And that's exactly what most of our people are doing. And I can tell you that from across all parts of Nigeria, we are getting a response that are quite positive, from the political actors. A lot of people are now buying to the proposal of a president for Igbo extraction. So I'm very hopeful that by the grace of God it will be achieved. And we would like to see an Igbo man who will make a change, make a difference, not just going there to say that, look, I'm president, and then worry about himself. No, also somebody to demonstrate the Igbo spirit of achievement and accomplishment.
All right, this is Political Voices. Still, let's go back to the full line 090-200-20925 with... Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
What's your name and location?
My name is Seko Ubi. I'm calling in Crosswalk State, Yakka local government area in Ugeb.
Right, go ahead and make your contribution.
Sir, the contribution I have is about myself. What I mean is that they should not take me to where I will go and receive punishment in this life because of my poor health.
All right, then. Okay. 090-200-20925. Back to Facebook. Okay, you want to respond to something?
There was some issue somebody raised before which we didn't address. Somebody from Ituku.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to respond there essentially that we've done roads in Ituku and they're still doing, but we still have some challenge of funding because we have limited funding, so that road has not been completed. I have to apologize. But we're still pursuing the funding of that project. But I'm also aware that our friend, our brother, the governor, has also done some roads in Ituku. I've had aids from Ituku. So I've tried to accommodate the people of Ituku. I've also tried to, I rehabilitated a church in Ituku, at my personal cost. So we've intervened in a number of ways in Ituku.
All right, and back to Facebook. Kelechi Ohaju says, my question is, what is your opinion on the issue of Nnamdi Kanu setting up BSS? And second one, your view about the Ohanaeze Ndigbo leadership.
Well, I think the present Ohanaeze leadership, led by Professor Obiozo, is something we're all are going to be very proud of. I've known Obiozo for a long time, and I respect him a lot. And I'm not the only person who respects him. He's highly respected in the international community, in the diplomatic community, and in academia. So I think at this time in the history of Ndigbo, we need a man of his pedigree. And I'm happy that he got elected. I want to thank my friend and my brother, last president, Nyanwodo. He did us very proud as a Enugu man. So when we decided to give him the opportunity, asked him to come and serve our people, he graciously accepted and he did extremely very well. And then also make sure that there's a transition that's seamless to a man who is also quite very good. So I hope and believe that the Obiozo-led executive will make all of us proud. They're going to achieve some of our aspirations. So all we just need to do is to appeal to all our brothers and sisters everywhere to cooperate with him. And then also appeal our brother Nnamdi Kanu as well to also engage more constructively in his approach for the welfare of our people.
All right, then. Back to the phone lines, 090-200-20925. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and location?
My name is Mpazam Paul. I'm calling from Ogugonika.
You're welcome.
I must commend the distinguished senator in the studio. So by coming to the radio to address the people. But there's something I want to say about Igbo senators in the National Assembly. The thing is that most of them, they don't, show their presence when issue of importance is discussed in the assembly. For instance, the $29-point-something billion of the rail project, most of them were not there when it was discussed. That is why the Igbo states, we are excluded. So what I'm saying is that they have to try to be always, be in the assembly in order to get people their own say. When such things come, that when they are not there, who will represent us? And it is after such thing has been done that the Igbo people will begin to clamor. Why should they clamor when they have representatives and senators there? But these guys are not doing their work as it should be. So let them up the ante.
We've noted your question.
But let me say that that's completely unfair to our colleagues from the Southeast in the National Assembly. They attend very, very well. They contribute effectively. Now, what happens to issue of loan?